Howdy y'all, Master Sergeant Porkins here. How you guys doing today? We're back talking about Fallout 76 like we couldn't get enough of this crap. A couple weeks ago, posted a video on this and how the beta was absolute garbage just before the beta had come out because, one, from years of doing betas and alphas, two, the way other companies do betas and alphas, and how Bethesda has been handling this. I could already tell that it was going to be a lot of problems, and not in the typical problems that you would see with alphas and betas, wanting to test things out, making sure, hey, let's see if we can break it. And their whole acronym for beta, you know, break it early, test, you know, application, that kind of thing. It was just going to be a horrible dumpster fire, and sure enough, it's turned out to be. We've had a lot of problems on Xbox, PlayStation, and especially PC. I mean, we're going to go through a lot of things talking about this today because they need to be brought up, and hopefully I can save somebody the time and the money and the effort for even picking up this absolute waste of a game. First off, we're going to be talking about how Bethesda is still using a 10-year-old engine. Not only that, with the way that they've modified this engine, from starting out on Fallout 3, which Fallout 3 was actually pretty good. And then they went into Fallout New Vegas, and of course Obsidian worked on that. And it was still pretty good. And then Fallout 4 came. And that kind of felt empty, even though it was pretty big. And from what I've been playing on this, the game still feels pretty empty. I mean, even more so. It has been causing a lot of problem on high-end machines. People like myself that run a 1080 Ti, run 32 gigs at 3000 megahertz, and I have a really good system I've put together. I was experiencing at times dropping down to 25 FPS, and I found out that it's been bleeding RAM the way that this particular engine has been running. They've maxed it out. I mean, imagine taking a small lawnmower engine and just building upon it and building upon it and building upon it. Now it's getting to the point where the stuff that you're racing against have left the whole thing of lawnmower engines and now gone into larger, more automotive style engines. But you're still chugging along using this engine. No, guys, we can make this work. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. No. Looking on the internet, seeing people like Shroud and Ninja, which are using the 2080 Ti, and they were posting as high as 120, but bouncing down to 70. That is very, very strange. If you're running like machines like they are, which, you know, high-end machines, I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars, you know, $6,000 to $10,000 machines easily, and it's bouncing back and forth between 70 and 120, there's no way. No way. Now, also found out a few other things, too, that if you wanted to adjust the field of vision in this game, you cannot. There is no slider, no commands to do so. So I started messing around like with some of the games with Bethesda with this particular engine. You can go in the INN files and change the field of vision that way. Well, if you do that, it's actually tied to the field of vision, your HUD. So where you have your life bar, shows you how much, all that ammunition. So if you actually expand it out, it pushes it outside the boundaries of your monitor. You can't see what's going on. That's a really interesting way of how they've done things with this particular ordeal in everything that they've done with options. Now, I started also looking at the water and ground textures. Now, this feels like a complete port over from Fallout 4, where they didn't really do much. There's no improvements. It's just basically they took assets, put things together, and to be honest, it's horrible. The water textures look like the same that you would find in Oblivion. Same thing with Skyrim. Same thing with Fallout 4 and New Vegas. They were just absolutely, it's nasty looking. And people are saying, oh, this game looks so incredible. No, it don't. It looked incredible about 6 years ago. Maybe 8 years ago. But not today. No, the way visually, no. The game is very colorful for how supposedly 20 years after the fact, or 25 years after the fact, that bombs had dropped and there's still a lot of things growing. I would expect more of a nuclear wasteland. But apparently not. No. And then I also had God rays coming out through the mountain as opposed to, like, say, you know, from the sun or whatnot. Like, it was like a bleed-through effect. Another big thing that I noticed, too, objects were popping out of nowhere. You know how you can go and check to see, you know, your distance and everything. I was checking out my distancing and everything just to make sure, like, how it would be if things popped up, if they were very close or very far away. And it's not like how the other games where you kind of slowly walk into it and it slowly brings it in. These were just like, once you got to a certain point, they would just pop in and out. I would expect this from like 7 Days to Die, and you guys know how I feel about 7 Days to Die. But with something like this, with this particular engine as opposed to Unity, this engine that Fallout is using, which is their own homebrew stuff, it feels very wonky. Once again, their engine, they need to improve upon it or make a completely damn new one. This is insanely stupid. Now, one of the biggest complaints I do have about is this game feels empty. Nothing for story. Most of the story elements that I've come across, they're all off of holotapes. Anytime that you have to go do a fetch quest, which is basically this game feels like a whole bunch of fetch quests. Now, if you've ever played Dead Island Riptide, that game was practically Fetch Quest City. This is now Fetch Quest Country, the sequel to that. As I was going through, trying to, you know, find out, hey, what's the lore, what's going on, everything was on holotapes. You'd just find the dead body of that person nearby, and even the stories or the lore is chintzy. It's cruddy. It's very shallow and pedantic. It's not very good. This is definitely a very lazy effort put in by the writers. And you can see that, too. This game, when it came out, it was just announced out at E3. Nobody else knew anything about it. Nothing from insiders saying, hey, there's a Fallout game coming up. Nobody. So what this sounds like is that Bethesda themselves decided to put together a game while they're waiting for other stuff to come out. Elder Scrolls 6 and that one space game they got coming out, which I have no interest for. I don't even care, because right now Bethesda's just been pissing me off to no end. Between the promises that Pete Hines, which is, you know, the talking mouthpiece for Todd Howard, the ultimate hype king, I can't understand, let alone even believe anything that comes out of their mouths anymore. Anytime that Todd Howard opens up his mouth is just another adjective for hype. Anyways, going through and looking through all this, yeah, it's a very lazy, creative effort by Bethesda put together this game just to tide people over. It's like going to a party that's going to have some pretty decent food that they've at least, you know that they've served over the past years, but you're now starting to feel that this food is boring. Well, then they find out, oh crap, we don't have anything to serve them this time. Well, let's just throw together something out of the back of the fridge. I think we have some leftovers from the last meal from last year, and we'll just make something put together. They won't know the difference, and then we'll hype it out saying it's some sort of, you know, exotic food, from across the world. So it is what it is. It's garbage. We all know it's garbage, and we're left with a bad taste in our mouth. Now, the PvP and PvE elements have an awkward compromise about how the system should work. Now, with this, I've noticed that I've come across a couple people that wanted to fight. They would sit there and shoot at me. Would hardly do any damage because I was not reciprocating. When I did finally reciprocate, I took the guy down, and it felt like it was easy. There wasn't really any challenge to it. Then he came back, got me once. I got him a couple more times. I even got him while he was in his menu. It was pretty damn hilarious. But for that, it felt like there was no really reward to it. It just like, ha, I got you. It was like playing cowboys and Indians when you were younger with your fingers. And like, bang, I got you. No, bang, I got you. It was just, that's how it came out to it. Now, the shooting is supposed to be the core in this game. Everything is supposed to be centered around how this first-person shooter, third-person shooter is supposed to go about. It doesn't feel good. And to be honest, it hasn't felt good for a long time. Now, I know that before, when Bethesda did these games, even though that they were first-person, shooting was supposed to be one of the aspects, but it wasn't the main one. There was always some storytelling to it and some other things. Now, since they've stripped everything away, mostly the story, no NPCs, really no reward system, And the only thing that it has to hold back, or at least fall back on, is the shooting. And it's absolutely crazy and just completely garbage. I've played a lot of different shooters. I would even have to say the newest Call of Duty has a better shooting mechanic than this game does. It doesn't feel good. Shot placement is kind of wonky. Even the way that the characters kind of move and shuffle. I have a really good internet connection, so when you're getting into the server, even a lot of the NPCs that you come across to fight, their feet don't move and they just kind of shuffle across the ground, and a lot of shots that you don't make, that you think that you make placement on, but they miss completely because of lag and a few other things. Once again, it's a very poorly put together game. The Vat system is absolutely garbage how they've reworked it in this one. VATS does not work traditionally like they have in the first-person versions of Fallout. Whereas, Fallout 3, the game completely stopped. You got to pick your places, and then it started back up and fired. Same thing with New Vegas, but in Fallout 4, they made it to where the action's still kind of going in the background a little bit. So it gives you got to hurry up and pick your placement shots. You just can't wait. This one it's going full rate constantly. And you have to pick up perks to be able to hit different areas. You can't just, like normally when you go into a game, hit VATS. It's all just now one big target. And I tried this with both melee and ranged attack. It's one big target. You have to pick up the concentrated fire perk, and I'll get more into how they do the perk system this time around a little bit later on. But it's just one big open target, and you hit if you don't. You may get rewarded with a critical hit, but once again, it's lazily done in a crappy shooting system. It's just not good. Now with character creation, it's gone very bizarre. It's gone dumbed down from what it used to be back from the original special system. We still did see the original special system when Bethesda picked up all the stuff from Interplay and then did it in the first person as opposed to the old isometric RPG. They still kept all those elements. Fallout New Vegas did keep all those elements, and that's probably your best version of the first-person shooter era for Fallout. But Fallout 4 decided to dumb it down completely. The way it did its perk system and how it goes about doing skills and everything, which is, once again, very, very stupid. This one even goes deeper down the rabbit hole of stupidity. This one, you only get, every level you go up, you get to pick 1 point to put in any of your special. There are no, skill points for, small guns, big guns, none of that. And then you get a perk card for every time that you pick. So say you all start off at 1 point for your special system. Once you go to second level, you get a second point. You put that anywhere you want to. Now, depending on where you put it, you get a perk card, which has different levels to it, and you can buy more levels or even find perk card packs. Or even worse, use their microtransaction system, which seems to be the only thing that works properly in the game, to buy more of these perk cards. And you can trade them back and forth with your buddies. Yeah, that's a circle jerk of fucking fun. Yeah, this is the way the character... It's so completely stupid how they've set this up. They've taken out any sort of RPG feel to it, like you're actually gaining something. Now it's just become something kind of like a mix between Hearthstone and two hobos jerking each other off behind a dumpster at a 7-Eleven. Now, one of the things I'm really upset too is that the only thing that's polished and works well is the microtransaction. But Pete Hines out of his big fat lying mouth and said, oh yeah, you're going to earn a lot of things called atoms. Atoms are like cash. You can use them to buy things. You're going to make so many, you don't even have to buy any. That's bullshit. There have been people on Reddit that have found out that the average gain of atoms is about 70 per hour. Now, 1 atom does equal 1 penny in this game. The average is about 70 cents an hour. Most things in the shop that you want to just buy suits, buy a hat, it's literally $5 of cash. Buy a skin for your Pip-Boy, $3 to $5 for cash. To buy little emojis are $1.50. Just one emoji, not many, just one. So you can have, say go for $1.50, you can buy an emoji for your Fallout character to stick his thumb up his ass and rotate on it at an alarming speed. This is This is absolutely stupid. So yeah, there is microtransactions. The only thing that seems to work well in this. I wonder what they had in mind. Love me some cash grabs, I do. Now, after everything's all said and done, this is a $60 game for a crappy, garbage, dumpster fire of an open world sandbox survival game. If it was $30, I would probably buy it. Thank God I got this game for free. But if it was $30, I would buy it because it does have that same incompletion like Conan and Ark does, even though Ark has come out with their own with another update again. This is not worth $60. This is not a polished game. This is something that was made in the middle of the night just to try to appease people, and they're lying through their teeth to try to say, this is the greatest thing of all time. You guys are going to absolutely love it. Bethesda said, yeah, we're all about the single-player games, and then they put out this garbage. ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, is actually a good game, and they've spent many years to go through it. But see, that's mostly ZeniMax, and ZeniMax is the parent company of Bethesda. At least they put some polish on that, and of course I do have my own gripes and qualms about it, but it's still a fun game, and I would say that game at the time when I bought it was $60. This, no. And I don't see any improvement. This is just a tide over until we can see the other games that are coming out by Bethesda, and it's just going to be an afterthought of about 6 months. The sad part about it is there are going to be a lot of people that are going to disagree with me, saying this is the best thing since sliced bread. And of course, these are the same people that most likely sit in a basement, shitting into a bucket and yelling at their mom at the top of their lungs why they don't have any more Hot Pockets, Doritos, and Mountain Dew, or else they're going to get a black eye again if they don't deliver. But I digress. I expect to get downvotes on this. It's very hard to speak the truth on anything nowadays because people end up getting so triggered. But that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to give a fair analysis. And the sad part about it is people don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear the truth. It's rough. It's gritty. And you know what? Sometimes it's nice to be lied to. But you know what? I'm not going to be lied to like this, and I'm sure as hell not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything that comes out of my mouth. Why? Because I'm a fat guy and I'd probably eat it. Anyways, as I sit here and I digress, this game, avoid it like the damn plague. Or if not, wait till it does go on sale. I guarantee within 6 months' time, it will drop down to $30. Or even less than that. If it's on sale for under $30, grab it, because then it would be worth it. Then you can kind of goof around with your friends. That's about it. But don't expect anything more in-depth. If this was a woman that you picked up at the bar, do not expect to have kids with this person in a long-lasting relationship. This is a one-and-done cum dumpster of a game. You play it once, hopefully you didn't spend much on it just to get into the sheets with it, have your little fun with it, and go on your damn merry way and forget about him. Maybe you might bump into him 20 years later and think about that one night of passion you had, and then go back and go, well, it wasn't worth the crabs that I end up getting and had to use that Shanker lotion to get rid of everything. So guys, I want to hear what your guys' comments and feelings are on it. Please leave them down below in the comments. I would love to have a good conversation. If you're going to come in here, start yelling like a cucklord, start cussing, berating me or whatnot, expect your comment just to be gone. But for the most part, if you want to sit down, have a good conversation, I will have a good conversation with you. Let's have a civil conversation on this. Because you know what? Yeah, this is a garbage game, and I'm going to expose it for what it's worth. And you know what? My feelings on this are not alone. There's a lot of big gamers stepping up and talking about this. And I want to have a really good resolve about this. Let's start changing the way gaming practices are done. Because I'm getting sick and tired of these kind of games getting put out and then saying that this is the best thing since sliced bread, and people are buying into it. No, we deserve as consumers and as gamers something much better. Because if we continue to keep buying into this, the practice is just going to get worse and worse and worse. And we are going to see another fallout like we did with E.T. back in the day. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you coming on out. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, give that like, subscribe, and make sure to hit that notification bell for more Master Sergeant Porkins videos and live streams and all that other hoo-ha. And I'll see you all in the next battlefield. Deuces!